Alright guys, I'm back. I'm all bundled up. It's getting chilly. I mean, even in the house a little bit. But I know I'm in a Three Seasons room, so it's going to be a little bit chillier. But man, I was out hunting today, and it was freezing. Got skunked, which made it a little bit colder, but that's alright. Anyway, we're back with Leviticus chapter 20, where the header reads, Punishments for Disobedience. And we'll just jump right into it. The Lord said to Moses, Give the people of Israel these instructions, which apply both to native Israelites and to the foreigners living in Israel. If any of them offer their children as a sacrifice to Molech, they must be put to death. The people of the community must stone them to death. I myself will turn against them and cut them off from the community, because they have defiled my sanctuary and brought shame on my holy name by offering their children to Molech. And if the people of the community ignore those who offer their children to Molech and refuse to execute them, I myself will turn against them and their families and will cut them off from the community. This will happen to all who commit spiritual prostitution by worshiping Molech. I will also turn against those who commit spiritual prostitution by putting their trust in mediums or in those who consult the spirits of the dead. I will cut them off from the community. So set yourselves apart to be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep all my decrees by putting them into practice, for I am the Lord who makes you holy. Anyone who dishonors father or mother must be put to death. Such a person is guilty of a capital offense. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the man and the woman who have committed adultery must be put to death. If a man violates his father by having sex with one of his father's wives, both the man and the woman must be put to death, for they are guilty of a capital offense. If a man has sex with his daughter-in-law, both must be put to death. They have committed a perverse act and are guilty of a capital offense. If a man practices homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman, both men have committed a detestable act. They must both be put to death, for they are guilty of a capital offense. If a man marries both a woman and her mother, he has committed a wicked act. The man and both women must be burned to death to wipe out such wickedness from among you. If a man has sex with an animal, he must be put to death, and the animal must be killed. If a woman presents herself to a male animal to have intercourse with it, she and the animal must both be put to death. You must kill both, for they are guilty of a capital offense. If a man marries his sister, the daughter of either his father or his mother, and they have sexual relations, it is a shameful disgrace. They must be publicly cut off from the community. Since the man has violated his sister, he will be punished for his sin. If a man has sexual relations with a woman during her menstrual period, both of them must be cut off from the community, for together they have exposed the source of her blood flow. Do not have sexual relations with your aunt, whether your mother's sister or your father's sister. This would dishonor a close relative. This would dishonor a close relative. Both parties are guilty and will be punished for their sin. If a man has sex with his uncle's wife, he has violated his uncle. Both the man and woman will be punished for their sin, and they will die childless. If a man marries his brother's wife, it is an act of impurity. He has violated his brother, and the guilty couple will remain childless. You must keep all my decrees and regulations by putting them into practice, otherwise the land to which I am bringing you as your new home will vomit you out. Do not live according to the customs of the people I am driving out before you. It is because they do these shameful things that I detest them. But I have promised you, you will possess their land because I will give it to you as your possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has set you apart from all other people. You must therefore make a distinction between ceremonially clean and unclean animals, and between clean and unclean birds. You must not defile yourselves by eating any unclean animal or bird or creature that scurries along the ground. I have identified them as being unclean for you. You must be holy because I, the Lord, am holy. I have set you apart from all other people to be my very own. Men and women among you who act as mediums or who consult the spirits of the dead must be put to death by stoning. They are guilty of a capital offense. And that's the end of chapter 20, guys. So a lot of this seems pretty straightforward, and by a lot of it, I mean 100% of it. The only one that is like on the fringe that I imagine is more of a, I don't want to say a ceremonial cleanliness, but to that extent would be a man and a woman having relations during her menstrual period. I think that's the only one where it is within a union that is appropriate, but because of um, the uncleanliness of the woman, or I don't know the specifics of how the language would be put out, we would say the spiritual uncleanliness of the woman in that moment. But even then, is that the appropriate words? I want to make sure that I'm getting the words right. Because of the woman's state makes it an impure act for both parties to take part in. Excuse me. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Hey, you shouldn't have relations with animals. You shouldn't have relations with close relatives. You shouldn't take advantage of your neighbor's wife. You shouldn't take advantage of close family members' wives, whether blood related or not. A lot of it is straightforward. So this doesn't. Although I will say this: when you go back through and read about Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis, he had to speak to these things for a reason. There was no line in the sand when it came to moral application of any known law. They were just sleeping with one another, and there was no regard to what some might consider to be morality or an alignment with God and his expectations. And so to lay these things out as really as blunt as he did, and to know that no, when you do these certain things, you're either marked as unclean, you're stoned to death, or you're burned alive. That's pretty straightforward. It's not, he's not mincing words with this one, or anything lost in translation. But it's so interesting to me that the translation of what this turns into in our, I don't want to say our misunderstanding or misinterpretation of it, but with the specificity of those things, especially when Jesus came and did not have them follow through with the stoning of a woman, and their follow say, guys, you guys are not love each other, and you won't want to do these things, and you'll, I don't want to say naturally because it requires work on our part for it. You will naturally fall in line with God's intent. You love. Say, you put me above all else and love everybody like you love yourself, and poof, everything else will be okay. You're then aligned with me. Are you going to be perfect? No. Are you going to fall all the time? But man, am I going to be right there to pick you right back up. And so I like that. While that was pretty blunt and pretty brutal as far as expectations, it seems pretty reasonable. And that seems, not that the expectation for sin is death, understanding that and realizing the severity of the follow through that is death, or the stonings, but man, the things that people would be doing to each other, let alone family and those that you should love, to take advantage or to hurt people, wages of sin is death. And they just happen to say exactly what kind of death it might be and how swift that justice might be. But on that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And tomorrow I'll be reading Leviticus chapter 21, where the header reads, Rules for the Priests. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.